Hey guys, so it's AprilVlog day 28 and today I am wrapped up super warm and cozy in my big hoodie and scarf because it's absolutely freezing. But I'm going to be starting a new series on my vlog channel called Ask Flur. It's kind of a self-explanatory name. It's kind of replacing my Ask Me Anything type videos. But I want to do a kind of theme around each video that I make, and I don't know how often I'm going to make them. It might be every week, it might be a bit longer, it might be a bit more frequently, who knows, but this is going to be the first one, and each one is going to have a theme. So today's theme is going to be friendships, and I tweeted and Facebooked asking all of you guys if you had any questions for me about friendships, and I got lots of replies, and I've picked out my top 5 questions which I'm going to answer now. So number 1 comes from Maddie Wallace on Facebook, and she asked me, did you find it difficult to remain friends with your childhood or high school friends when you went to uni? Now, I definitely had a bit of a mixed experience with keeping friends. My best friends that I was very close to, obviously I've kept in touch with really well, even though three of my best friends from school all went to the same uni up in Scotland, so they were absolutely miles away. I was down in London and I didn't see them that often. I just see them in the holidays, and I spoke to them on the phone, I texted them, but I wasn't in that much contact with them considering I'd gone from seeing them every single day at school. It is a big change and it does make it kind of difficult to keep in touch, but I think if you're really good friends with people, sometimes it doesn't matter if you don't see them for a few weeks or speak to them for a few weeks, and when you see each other again it just makes it even better. So in a nutshell, like, yes, it is difficult, but I think if you really make the effort, then you can, of course you can stay friends with people. It's difficult to keep in touch with everybody, that's for sure. Like, a lot of the people who I was friends with at school but not necessarily best friends with, I've definitely lost touch with over the years. I mean, it's been 6 years this year since I left school, so it's kind of getting quite a long time since I left, and it is difficult to keep in touch with people who you don't live close to in proximity, or say they move away, or they move away to work, move away to uni or whatever. It's difficult to keep in touch with people. But I do have a couple of tips. Number 1 would be make an effort, and it's always important, even if the other person doesn't make an effort, as long as you've tried and you've tried first. That's the main thing in being a good friend. Like, if you want to keep friends with somebody, make an effort to keep in touch with them. Text them every now and again, ring them every now and again, write them a message on Facebook. Facebook and mobile phones are like the best thing ever. I think in our parents' generation, I don't know how they did it, like keeping in touch with friends who they'd been to school with, and maybe, you know, they changed their number, they move house and they don't have a mobile phone. That must have been way harder. We have so much kind of at our fingertips now for keeping in touch that it's kind of silly not to do it. The second thing would be, if you ever have a school reunion, go along, because even though it's a little bit cringy and you're going to see people who maybe you didn't like at school, but at the end of the day, like, getting back in touch with people who you were friends with is the most awesome feeling. I know I went to one this year, or actually last year now, and it was so cool just to see people I hadn't seen in 5 years. It was a really cool experience, and I guess the longer you've left school, like, that becomes even better. So I've been rambling a lot about this one, but yes, it can be hard to keep in touch with friends, but it's totally worth making the effort. And try not to get lazy. Like, when you're at uni, try not to like kind of forget about your old friends. You know, you probably make a lot of new friends, and it can be kind of easy to get busy and not to make the effort to keep in touch with your friends. So try your hardest to keep in touch, because it's definitely worth it. Like, keeping in touch with people who knew you when you were young is just the best thing. Like, to meet up with them and reminisce about being a teenager, it's like one of the most fun times in your life, so you want to remember it and know people who knew you when you were a teenager as well, especially when you get a little bit older. I think that's really important. So number 2, Emma Jane on Twitter asked, how do I make friends at university? And I actually got a lot of questions similar to this, asking me how to make friends at a new school, or if you are changing schools and you're feeling a bit nervous about how to kind of fit into social groups and things like that. My top tip for making new friends is to try and be as confident as you can, especially if you're a little bit shy. And I'm always a little bit shy when I first meet people, but when I first went to uni, you kind of just have to force yourself to go up to people and say hi, to introduce yourself to the person who is in the room next to you, or who is, you know, walking to lectures next to you, and, you know, start up a conversation. It can be difficult, it can be awkward, they might be rude, then they might not want to talk to you, but you just kind of have to brush it off and go to the next person, because there will be people that want to make friends. Everybody's going to be new, everybody wants to meet friends, so at the end of the day, like, they'll probably really appreciate it if you go up to them and say hi. So that would be my number one tip, is to try and be confident and just go and talk to people, because that's the best way. Even if you don't end up liking them, it's the best way just to get to know people and find the people who you do like. In terms of school, I think it's a little bit different, because I think when you're younger, especially when you are kind of early teens, I think it can be really there's a lot of pressure to fit in, from my personal experience anyway, and there's kind of pressure to be cool or popular. And I think the most important thing that I can say to you guys from hindsight, from my experience, is that you don't need to fit into the popular crowd to have a good time, and you'll probably have a better time if you just try and be yourself and be friends with people who are similar to you and who you like. Because if you spend all your time trying to fit in with a group that maybe you shouldn't really fit in with, that you don't really like them, but you're just doing it to kind of, because you think it's what you should do, then you probably won't be as happy as you would be if you were just to kind of be yourself and be friends with the people who are like you. And that's what I learned between the ages of like 13 and 15. That's definitely what I learned, and my group of friends changed quite a lot in that period. Yeah, so I think they would be my tips for making friends. Hope that helps some of you guys. So number 3, Carlia Dixon from Facebook asked me, did you tell your friends when you first started YouTube? What did they say, and what do they think of you being on YouTube now? Now this is an interesting question. I actually got quite a lot of these relating to YouTube and what my friends think of YouTube. Did I tell everybody when I first started? No, definitely not. When I first started YouTube, only Mike and my mum knew. My dad and my brother and sister didn't even know until about a week or 2 weeks in. I was really, really scared of telling them. I was really scared of what they would think. And my friends didn't know probably until about 2 months in. So I kind of just wanted to see whether I wanted to do it for sure before telling anyone, because it's kind of a weird thing to be doing. And yes, when I first told my friends, they thought it was weird, but I'll tell you what, the way they reacted actually gave me a bit of an indication of how good a friend they were, because looking back now, my really, really good friends and my best friends all, even if they thought it was weird, were kind of excited for me or supportive of me, and they would, they'd be like, wow, what is this? And kind of interested in it, rather than like, what the hell are you doing? You're weird. Kind of, and no one really reacted like that to me, but I think a few people were a bit like, yeah, okay, Fleur, like, whatever, kind of thing. I think those friends are probably the friends that aren't such good friends to me, and I think as time has gone on, people's attitudes have definitely changed. So obviously when more people started watching my channel, people became more interested in it, and I think now it's gone from the people who kind of thought it was a bit weird in the beginning to they're now kind of intrigued and kind of interested to see what I'm doing. But the people who have been supportive throughout have just remained supportive, and are now like, I know like my really good friends are really proud of my kind of achievements on YouTube, and they're really proud that I'm still doing it. And I know a lot of them watch my videos, which is kind of weird to me now. It's funny because it's always really interesting to find out who watches your videos, because a lot of the time people who have kind of been really not that nice about it to start off with actually end up watching them. So I find that really, really strange, but it's definitely been a kind of learning experience for me in terms of friendship and YouTube. Like, it definitely tests who are your real friends, because it is kind of a strange thing to be doing. And I mean, when I started, it was 2.5 years ago now, so it wasn't as big as it is now, and it is kind of a funny thing to be doing. If you've never watched videos yourself, and one of your friends says, oh, I'm talking about beauty products and putting my makeup on YouTube, I would be a little bit like, oh, okay. I mean, I'm a beauty fanatic, so I'd be like, wow, that sounds awesome. But if you're not, and a lot of my friends aren't that into beauty, it is kind of a strange thing to be doing. But yeah, it's definitely taught me a few things about life and friends and kind of how things go and who you should kind of put your faith in. So it's been a good learning experience for me. Okay, number 4, Nada Rahim asks, do best friends have to like the same things to be best friends? And I feel very, very strongly about this. Absolutely not. Pretty much all of my best friends are totally different to me. My longest, kind of oldest best friend, Lissy, who's been in lots of videos with me, you guys will probably have seen her, we are absolute polar opposites, and we both know it. We both say it and laugh about it all the time. She's really outdoorsy, she's really sporty, she's not into kind of like beauty and makeup and stuff like that, and she's a bit of a tomboy. She's kind of a bit of a joker, if you know what I mean, whereas I'm very kind of girly, I'm quite sensitive, I hate team sports, I just in general like I'm not a very outdoorsy person, and we're so different, but we've stayed really good friends for most of our lives. And I think you can be good friends with people who are very similar to you, but I find sometimes if you are friends with people who are similar to you, you tend to clash a little bit. So I think it's actually the opposite of what Nada is asking. I think it actually helps if you're different from your friends, because I think you all bring something different to the table, and I know when me and all of my friends get together, we're all so different that it's a really interesting kind of mix, and we always have really interesting conversations about stuff because we all have something different to bring to the table. So yeah, number 5 comes from Taisha on Twitter, and she says, if you could make any fictional character your best friend, who would it be and why? And this may be kind of like current at the moment because I've been rewatching The OC, but 100% Seth Cohen from The OC. He is the most awesome, hilarious character, and I just absolutely love him. I loved him at the time, and rewatching it now, I wish The OC was still running. Yeah, he's just a really funny, like, cute character, and I would definitely want to be friends with him if he was real. I also got a lot of other questions similar to this, saying if you could be friends with any celebrity, who would it be? And I think you guys probably might know the answer. Definitely Taylor Swift, because I'm a little bit obsessed with her. So yeah, that would be my answer to that. And that is the end of my very first Ask Fleur. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you click the thumbs up button. I think it's like there. If you did like it, and let me know kind of what you think. If you have any ideas for future topics for Ask Fleur, then let me know. I know I'm definitely going to be doing one on relationships, probably one on travel, maybe one on school, which kind of links into friendship as well, so I'm not really sure there. But if you do have any ideas for topics, then let me know. I hope you guys are all having an amazing day, and I will see you tomorrow.